Yeah, so look, as I said, here we go. We fold, and we fold. There it is. The Queen's teeth. Now you can see here, teeth, 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 and perhaps a sweet potato or some sort of vegetable. Not sure what that might be going in there, but you can see it's something there. And now let's point these out, which I've already done, but 5, 5, 5, 5. That's 20. Now we look here. 5, 5, 5, 5, 20, 20. 20, 20. And again, here we see the spores and the various lungs affected by the COVID. I would like to count up these. Wouldn't be surprised if that's 20. Let's see. It's 3 lines of 5, 5 for 5. No, that's 15. But you get the idea there. Now, here's a close-up of these spores, and you can see what's going on there. Here we go. Now, doesn't this look like you're on the inside of some sort of tower looking up? It's summertime. You've gone to visit, perhaps you're going to look for some magazines or something, and you've got ridden on your bike. This may be reminiscing too much, but perhaps you grew up in the country and there may have been a clearing in the forest somewhere where they would have the power lines going through, and then you go there and you lie on your back and you look up and you see something like this, doesn't it? It's like the inside of a tower. And what sort of tower would they be talking about here? I don't think it's power, and you can tell that because look at this. They've written it right there. It's a 5G tower. That's what they're trying to tell you there. And what does that affect? Well, it affects your lungs, doesn't it? It affects the environment, the natural environment. But what are these birds? This is what I keep wondering to myself. You think about the birds, and I'll try and pull up some footage, but you think about a bird. What does it use its beak for? It will put its beak into a sort of a flower generally, but then you think about the way the birds have evolved, and you think about something like an ibis and the way that an ibis will use its large beak. Now, I'm not saying this is an ibis, but its beak will like scoop into a bin, and this is very similar to the way in which you will have seen people getting their tests done for the COVID, and they will get a large cotton bud, and that will get scooped into their nose, into the back of their throat. Now it's a bit like this, isn't it? You imagine this could be that, but this is, as I said, does this look like a flagpole? Usually a flagpole just goes from the top here where the flag hangs all the way down to the ground. Why have they made this structure like this? Doesn't seem like a flagpole, does it? Usually you make a structure like this to try and isolate this center section so it could be protected by radio waves or whatever, and you see that a lot in 5G antennas, 5G towers, which you can see there it's still illegal, I believe, to burn the flag, and so what they're trying to do is insinuate, they're trying to plant an idea in your mind that there's some link between the 5G tower and a flagpole, and so they're just trying to dissuade people from burning down the 5G towers, which they're doing, and I'm not saying they should be doing that, but I can't understand the concerns of why they may not want to be injected by Bill Gates or whoever it is that wants everyone to get the vaccine so they can be controlled in some way by the 5G towers. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but I have read on lots of my forums and things about there seems to be some link between the 5G tower, the virus floating through the air, as we see here, which clearly there's clearly a link between the 5G towers and the virus, which affects the lungs. Here's very clear, isn't it, that this is like the Wi-Fi connection zipping out. You can imagine if there was 1 bar, I got a little bit, the Wi-Fi just getting a little bit of connection. 2 bars, 3. Look at this, it's full Wi-Fi connection. You can see the way that this pops out, and that there's definitely a link between these things. Now, here we go. Here's a magnifying glass, isn't it? Works in a similar way to what you might think a magnifying glass might work with. You're able to look in there. Also, we see those Queen's teeth come back in again. Seems to be a link there with the Queen's teeth, the virus. I'm not sure whether it's a dental thing, and you know how I feel about that. And this potato or whatever that is. And here, of course, is the lungs, which we've already talked about. here we go. There she is, the Queen, Her Majesty. Now, nothing. You just would say this is. It's interesting, isn't it? The virus is said to affect old people so much. And there you go. She's there. So what does she do? She's encouraged to put on a mask. You can see there that she's put on the mask. It's a mask which, as you can see, has this Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi logo on it. First things when you first look at it, you think, well, look at that lovely, very handsome older lady, wearing some sort of facial scarf. And remember when the virus first came in, they told us, just you can wear a scarf. It doesn't have to be a full proper N95 mask or anything like that. Just wear whatever you've got lying around the house. If you've got some sort of scarf or a handkerchief or a silk, what do you call those things? Yeah, I guess it is a scarf, isn't it? Silk scarf, put that on it. And this looks to me, now correct me if I'm wrong, and your viewers, I encourage you to go home and try and look at your own $5, look in your own wallets, or your own money boxes, and tell me if you can't see this, because this looks to me like a designer scarf. In fact, I think that would be a great little business, wouldn't it, even to make scarves with this logo on it, so that you're able to make those up, and we could sell those, and that would hopefully wake people up, get them to look in their own wallets and then in their own backyards. I've always said that. I've said look in your own wallet and then your backyard, or look in your own backyard, then reach in your pocket, pull out your wallet and have a look in that. That's what I've always said to anyone who will listen. A lot of people who've looked at this program before will be familiar with this. Now, I also, my wife pointed this out. Doesn't this, we watched Eastern Promises the other day, this looks something like a sort of Russian gang tattoo, doesn't it? Now, you'd be familiar with that if you've seen Eastern Promises. There's a scene in the shower where Viggo Mortensen, he's a very smart gentleman. He speaks several languages, I've heard. A wonderful actor. He's Brando from the waist down, I've said, after seeing that scene in which he's a method actor. He is completely nude and it's a fight scene. I think it's quite erotic, but it's also action-packed and an interesting film. But let's not get off topic here. There's a few Russian gang tattoos, and there's one like this. And my wife said, as I was pointing out some of the things that I'd found in the $5 note, she said, "Oh, doesn't that look like Viggo Mortensen?" And I said, "It does." And she said, "Yeah, in Eastern Promises." And I said, "Yeah, it does." And she said, "Yeah, oh, it's great, that scene in when he's in the shower. He's a wonderful actor." And I said, "Yeah, he's a pretty good actor." And she said, "Oh, but the way he's fighting those gentlemen, it's in the sauna. It's incredible. It's a steam room. It's very erotic." And I said, "Well, look, let's just not get distracted, because that's what they want us to do. They want us to be distracted. They want us to stop looking at the money and start thinking about Hollywood." But I think that where we're looking here is, see the bird. This bird here, and it's hard to see because I've got a lot of lens flare, but this bird, which is flying towards Russia, isn't it? Now, does this talk about the Russian collusion in terms of this 5G COVID? A lot of people are talking about this, is the bird flapping towards Russia. Now, what is the bird? Who does the bird stand for? As I said, the bird could be a lot of things. It could be the media, the medical profession meddling with our nostrils and nasal cavities with the large scoops, which we've talked about here, in which a bird, like an ibis, will reach into a bin and find an old chip. What are they looking for at the back of your throat? Because they say it's COVID, but I think they're looking for something else. Here we have the 5G tower. I don't need to go into this too much because we've already covered it, but the 5G tower, it's clearly got the 5 written on it, hasn't it? Look at that. It looks a bit like a G as well. And that's the thing, isn't it? When we look at the G, when we look at that 5 up this way, it doesn't look like. But if you look like that, it does look like a G, doesn't it? 5G. 5. Let's see if I can't get these to go together. Checkmate. Look at that. Checkmate. 5. What does that say? What does that say right there? 5G. 5G. It's written there the whole time, and people aren't looking at it. You can go and do, as I said, please, if you don't believe this, go and do it with your own notes. Do it with your own notes. That's what I tell anybody that listens, and ask anybody that's listened to me. Sometimes it can be a bit hard to get this across, to get this all the way, but may need 2 folds. Let's see if I can bring that back. Might need 3 folds here. Yes, here we go. We've got the 5 there, and should just easily be able to do that. What do we get there? Isn't that interesting? I find 5G. 5G. That's clear as day, isn't it? 5G. And what's the relationship between 5G? Well, I've told you about it, haven't I? It's all linked. It's linked with the towers, it's linked with Russia, Vigo Mortensen and Eastern Promises, hot steam bars, ibises in bins, the way in which, what are the medicine people doing? What are they looking for up your nose? Who knows? This is the thing. You'll find on this, I'll have to go where you can see both sides at once to try and help you out with some of these things, but it seems as clear as day to me that that's what's going on. So anyway, I'll leave you there. That's the 5G. Just look into the notes. There's so many parts of this that it's right there. 5G. What's the 161? I don't know. You'd have to look into that yourself. I haven't got a strong enough. I've been looking at this under the microscope to try and find others, see if there's any hidden figures in amongst here. I've not been able to find them, but I think there's enough within this that you start to suspect what's going on here. What is this telling me? This looks like a mouth, or the two sides, all the sides of a Wi-Fi signal, and it's coming out of a hole. Now you can imagine this is a hole, and it's just throwing out these. Does appear like the COVID virus, doesn't it? Look a lot like that. So looks like that's popping out there of that hole. Now can't be sure of that, but we will find out as we move on through some of these the next stages of this. Anyway, but that's what I'd like to leave it. Go and have a look for yourself. Look for yourself. But this is the ones that I'd like you to remember is, of course, 5G. I think that explains it, doesn't it? It takes a little bit of effort. Fold like this. Fold like this. Oh wait. Fold like this. Fold like this. Scrunch. Fold. And then fold like this. 5G. 5G. It was right there the whole time, and I was too stubborn to look at it. 5G. There you go. Unbelievable. Okay. Moving on.